Karma's a bitch. You've all heard that, right? And the idea there is that there's something that is going to punish you for your behavior. So if you were a bad girl or a bad boy, then karma's going to come back and punish you. And most people use this in their own selfish way, meaning if they view that you've done something to them that is bad in their eyes, then this karma is going to come and it's going to get them and take its revenge. It's a very reductive sort of way to look at karma, so we're going to expand that out a little bit. So what karma really is a balancing system. That's it. It's not a judgment system or a punishment system. It's just a balancing system, which means your checks need to balance, right? And it needs to stay somewhere in the middle because energy has to balance. It just, for it to stabilize, it has to balance. If energy is not balanced, then it becomes very, very volatile. So it has to balance. The idea is that it's going to balance within you because you're the energy generator of the things. If you don't balance it within you, then it's going to balance outside of you, right? And so that's really what we're looking at when we say karmic debt. Is anywhere where your teeter-totter sort of tipped a little bit, and now you have to have that counterbalance to get you back into alignment. So if you think of things like when you have somebody's throwing up. So when oh, the joys of having animals. So if you look at meeting your needs, right? So if you're hungry, you eat, and if you're thirsty, you drink, and if you're tired, you sleep. There's something that has a counterbalance when that thing starts to tip out of line. So when you start to get hungry and your body says, hey, I'm starting to get hungry, and you say, oh, okay, I know what to do to get that back into balance. So that's just an analogy that you can look at about your whole entire life, and that's how karma will work, right? So if you have something that's getting a little bit out of balance, what is that counter that gets it back into balance for you? And that's what we're working on, and we work on these from lifetime to lifetime. So this isn't really something that comes outside of you. This is something that comes inside of you. There isn't something in the world or out of the world that is judging or blaming you or making decisions about what's right or wrong. That's actually coming from within you. Is where do you gauge that you were out of integrity is usually what's going to give us some karmic debt. Is where were you out of integrity for what you knew, where you were at, what you were capable of doing, what your motivation was behind those things. So sometimes things that look in the human world as very judgmental or very bad aren't always like that in the non-physical world, right? We don't have these levels of this is good and this is bad. Everything is just about getting balance back in. So you may be viewing some people as doing something bad, but they may be actually getting their karmic debt back in balance, depending on which way it goes. And that goes the opposite way too, because we have a tendency to think if you do good things, you're not going to build that karmic balance. But if you do those things to too extreme, that's what it is. It's whenever you're getting too extreme, when that teeter-totter goes bloop, right? And doing so-called good things, we can do that too, right? You can overcare about people to where you're getting your karmic debt imbalanced. So that's just a little bit of a broader view. It's just a start understanding about how vast karma is, and stop viewing it as some kind of a punishment system, because people do that. They think because, oh, these bad things are happening to me, it must be because I was a horrible person or whatever. And that doesn't do you any good, because how do you even work on that? So better to just ask yourself, where are you getting a little bit out of alignment?